Hey everybody, Ben here from the Bonehead podcast, and welcome to Top 5 Friday. On a Friday we get together and we have a look at the top 5 something probably to do with Blood Bowl. Now, we've had some great suggestions from you guys recently, and this one was very much along the lines of that. Now, this was from Salt Elk, who simply asked, what are the top 5 Blood Bowl accessories? So if you're starting out Blood Bowl, you're leveling up Blood Bowl, you're looking for an opportunity to buy things that are Blood Bowl that aren't really needed, or that you want to flesh it out, or what should you go prepared for? This is kind of where we're looking at today. And we put this out on Monday, and we had an absolute ton of brilliant suggestions actually. So if you want more after this video, go back and have a look at our community post or pop it into the comments. But for now, I went through all the information, kind of compiled them and grouped them together, and now we're going to be taking a look at the top 5 Blood Bowl accessories. Number 5 is rules. Okay, now rules may not be considered an accessory to the game, but they are incredibly important parts of the game. So if you are going to be playing Blood Bowl, then you should definitely be considering where you can get your rules from. Now, rule books, we put a little asterisk by here because it's not really an accessory, but having it on your phone, having the books ready to go are incredibly useful for League Night, for tournaments, and I guess this is an opportunity for us to call this out. Now, currently, Blood Bowl is in a pretty good place. It's not like 40k, it's not like Age of Sigmar. While there are multiple rulebooks and multiple kind of accessories out there, like the Spike magazines, the Death Zone magazines, stuff like that, most tournaments and things are kind of in one place. They don't use this from this book, this from this book, this from this book. Now, as Blood Bowl goes forward, that may change, but if you end up wanting to use a specific inducement from one of the 17 books that is out there, which may be where it goes, be prepared to bring the book with those special rules in. I think it's kind of an important thing to say. Or have it present on your phone for Games Workshop digital versions, although bafflingly they didn't do a digital version of the Dungeon Bowl rulebook, which I feel like was just kind of free money there for them. But hey, I don't work for Games Workshop. Have those rules available. But the accessory wise, there are two main factors here. One is have your roster sheet. Some of you are going to say, Ben, that's literally just the rules as well. It is and it isn't. Having a printed copy for your opponent to use at a tournament, at your League Night, it's a pretty useful accessory. You don't need it because actually you can say this guy's got block, this guy's got this, and he's a Dark Elf, and technically the information is there. Having a roster sheet is a great accessory, as is, and this is Mr. Triplow's most favourite suggestion, is reference sheets / cheat sheets. These can be indispensable. You don't need these, but man, there are some good ones online that have everything covered. The injury charts, the throwing charts, the scatter charts, the what happens here, the list of turnovers. I think you get some in the box set. That mine are still in the box set if they exist, but there's some great ones online that you can just get hold of and print out. Definitely worth it. If you've got a laminator, definitely worth laminating them. If you go to a club, if you're going to a tournament, then actually bringing that as a quick accessory is going to make your game so much easier and give a better play experience for everybody involved. So number 5, the rules. Number 4, dice, etc. Okay, so again, you're probably thinking, well, I need dice to play the game. Yes. You have to have Blood Bowl dice to play the game. That's just a part of how it works. You've got a dice pool mechanic with bespoke dice. You need those dice, kind of. Technically, you do need those dice. However, we had so many great flags in the comments of the post for this one that we cannot not mention dice, and they are so important that I think it does deserve to be number 4. Now, when I say so many dice, it's your team dice. But moreover than that, we've got, you know, there's all kinds of dice. There's a Facebook pages dedicated to collecting dice, to trading dice. There's the Bonehead podcast dice. There's your tournament specific dice. There's your club dice. There's the block dice that are specifically for your team, the goblin dice. You know, I will say try and use good dice that you can actually see. But dice, they are for Blood Bowlers the heraldry basically that that knights and things used to have in the medieval times. You go with your dice. You earn your dice. You collect your dice. You've acquired your dice. The dice have stories to them. They represent your allegiances and experiences. And it's just far too much of an important thing to mention as far as accessories go. Now, you don't need them. Maybe just you got a set of the red ones and you're good to go, and that's absolutely fine. This is accessories. These are accessories to the murder of your wallet, and that's where we're looking at. Now, on top of that, there's a couple of things. I'm pretty sure I put it on there, but I guess I didn't. Casualty dice, like these ones here. This is what we use in the Bonehead Championship, and I think on the Dungeon, yeah, definitely on the Dungeon Bowl Championship. Oh, I'm excited for you guys to watch that in a few weeks. Injury dice from Charlie Victor. I mean, they're so good. They've got all the stuff for the most recent game on there, and it works brilliantly. You roll a casualty, you roll those dice, they're good to go. And there's a whole other bunch of stuff you can get when it comes to dice. Dice trays, dice cups to protect your dice from flying absolutely everywhere. Again, dice towers. I can't believe I didn't mention that. When it comes to dice, etc., you don't need any of it. Dice tray, dice cup, dice tower, going to make things nice. Injury dice, going to make things nice. Custom dice that you love, that you've earned, that you've played strongly for. Also really important. So, number 4, accessories. Extra, more dice. Number 3, carrying cases. Now, these can come in a multitude of different kind of ways and thoughts and ideas. You've got your team trays, you've got team boxes, you've got carrying boxes. Now, there are a million out there. There's battle foam, there's felled hair, there's the K one that's blue, KR cases or something. But, I mean, this is the one I use, which is the Tabletop Tyrant. These are 2 layers of 16 in a box. It's made of cardboard. It's decent for £11.50. So I have a ton of these. They stack really nicely, and that's kind of like how I organise my teams. Team trays also are very applicable. This one's got magnet on the bottom, so your dudes stick in so you can carry them around and have a great time. There's a lot of different options here. That bit wasn't magnetised. And what's so important about it? Why is it such a good accessory? We've all been there. We've all... Do you know what? I've got Ben's fire team here as well, which is just in a little tub. Wow, that throws the green screen out. But it is magnetised, and it's a heck of a team. But there you go. He's got a bit of Tupperware with some magnetic sheeting stuck to the bottom, magnetic players on the top, and satisfyingly they clip in. So this is what I mean. Like, the carry case can be anything, a way to protect your team, a way to transport your team. Now, there are some really good cases out there that give you a space for your pitch, for your dice, for your pitch, for your rule books and things like that as well. Those are really cool, and that's kind of an expansion to this. So I have a laptop case that my Tabletop Tyrant box fits in really nicely alongside my pitch and my dice and league stuff. Works brilliantly. Grab the laptop case, you know, it's good to go. It's a no-brainer. You don't have to use it. You can just do what we all did when we probably first started in the hobby. Grab a random shoebox, fill it the heck full of kitchen roll, and bring some glue to make sure it all works. Well, that's fine too. But as far as accessories go, a good carry case where you can keep your team, keep it safe, keep it organised, put dudes back in it as they die, or a nice team tray, just a beautiful accessory. That is why carry case number 3. Number 2 is markers for your game. Now, this covers an absolute host of bits and pieces. We'll start here. So, markers for negatraits and for whether your big guy is prone or not. That's so useful. These are the Charlie Victor ones. We use these in our series as well. But you also know we use the Bonehead podcast buttons, like the pin buttons, badges in the UK. Those will be back in stock at the end of the month as well, which is quite cool. But you want to have markers that you can use for multiple things, but that actually just clearly explain what's going on the pitch. And this is why these are great. I think they're only about a couple of quid each. It's very, very useful. Because these ones are rubber, they go on stuff. Like, really good. If you're in the market for random Blood Bowl bling, great way to do it. But you don't need it, okay? You can do whatever. You can use pennies, you can use sweets. This is a nice bit of Blood Bowl bling. Having the little Bonehead podcast counters, you would have seen them in the Bonehead Championship, you know, right? That guy gets his stupid hat back again. That's what that means. It's a good way to mark it, and it is technically an accessory, but it's ubiquitous. It will make your game so much better, but that's not all. So those are the Negatrait status markers. You've got wizards and apothecaries. Technically, you want a baby. Well, you can use a model if you want. If you like models, you are playing Blood Bowl, but you can use a card, you can use a token, you can use a chip, you can use whatever to identify it, but you want to have markers that actually show what is going on. And skill markers for tournaments and for leagues are really important as well. Took them off that. We use Willy Miniatures ones that are just like these rubber things. They're about €5 for 5. Postage is expensive, so if you're going in on your league though, you put 30 quid in together and you'll end up with 60 of them at multiple colours. Probably good to go, right? Really, really recommend that. Or loom bands, or the 3D printed ones that are so cool. If you go into a league and you want to bling your dude out, there's a ton of great 3D printed skill markers that you can use, and you can slot the skills in and develop, and it's really great. Everything you're doing here is an accessory, but every single thing on this list is going to make your game clearer and look much better as well. And you know, Blood Bowl is a board game, not a miniatures game, but it's a board game that's awesome because it makes miniatures games look great. You've got great miniatures, you've got a great aesthetic. You know, a Blood Bowl game played with Lego on a standard pitch versus a fully painted Blood Bowl game on a modelled board. What are you going to go with? Probably the really swish one, and markers are going to help that as well. Helps play, helps keep things clear. Love them, and they're all accessories. You can get them all, and it's just they will always be useful. And the #1 accessory for Blood Bowl, based on how useful it's going to be and the cost that you can put into it, is a ball token. Now, there is nothing wrong with using a spiky little plastic thing. Nothing wrong at all. The original Dungeon Bowl ball, one of you actually gave me one at a tournament, and I've got it sitting there painted, waiting to be painted. Nothing wrong with that. It comes in the set. Technically, as far as these models are to start with, you've got the fancy little hole, and the ball goes in the little hole, and it works absolutely perfectly. You can jazz it up and use magnets. Absolutely. These are all things that are not lies. However, as far as playing a game, as far as a useful accessory, the ball token is just the #1 most useful thing. How many games of Blood Bowl do you play where there's a ball? All of them, okay? Exactly. Even Dungeon Bowl, where you play most of the game without the ball, at some point you're going to have a ball. Now, why do you want to use a ball token instead of a little ball? Okay, well, the ones like ours, the ones like Charlie Victor's, they poke out the side of the base. You can see who's got the ball. It doesn't interfere with the model. You don't have to put anything on the model. You can see it clearly on the pitch. But they all have something... That's not fair, actually. The Blitz Bowl token doesn't have anything useful about it. But the rest of them, generally speaking, have some bits that will make it better. So they've got a scatter template in there. The Charlie Victor one's got it on the back. Ours has got it underneath as well. You know, some of them are magnetic. The Charlie Victor one I don't think is magnetic, but ours is. So if you've got players who are magnetized like this, you put them on the ball and the ball's gonna come along with you. That is incredibly useful. Some of them have got throwing grids on as well. In fact, the Charlie Victor one has got the new throwing grid on and is just outrageously lush. Like, ours is great, and I appreciate everybody supporting the channel. He's going to be back in stock soon. In fact, our Patreon ones are going out right now. I like those. I think they're cool. It's a cool bit of bling that's going to make the game so useful, make the game easier. If you've watched the Bonehead Championship, you'll see us using the ball token all the time, right? You don't need the scatter template. Where's the scatter template gone? Doesn't matter. I need to scatter the ball. I pick up the ball. It's got a scatter template on it. In fact, we use 2 in the championship, one for the pitch and one to the right-hand side just as a separate scatter template. And actually, it's incredibly useful. The ball carrier token Mark II from Charlie Victor with the flipping throwing chart on it, just awesome. Like, you don't need the throwing chart then, you don't need the scatter chart either, because it's on the back of the dice and the back of the token, and it's all loose. This is a... You don't need it. You don't need it at all. But I have yet to see a game using a ball token that isn't better for it. And you know, we do a bunch of them. We tend to do them for our events as well. So you know, Beachhead, we have Beachhead Bowl and Beachhead Sevens. You got your token for that, and it ties into the dice thing as well. There's a lot of these that you can get as like an event token. Like, I earned this. The Patreon ones, you know, like I got this for supporting the channel. The ball carrier one, I got this because I love Blood Bowl. I'm going to use this in every single game. It's a great bit about blinging out Blood Bowl your way. And whether you want what is quite frankly the best, or whether you want it because you've been to one of our tournaments, or you've supported our channel, or you're one of our Patreons, it's that experiences and allegiances element to it as well. And I think it's just a really cool thing to add to Blood Bowl. And if you've watched any of the 7 Super Series, any of our Bonehead Championship, and eventually when the ball is found, the Dungeon Bowl Championship, nearly called it a donut championship then. The diet is going fine, but I am missing donuts. They're just awesome. They're just so incredibly helpful, and I cannot recommend them enough. So that's for me. The ball token, and so many people suggested this, is the #1 Blood Bowl accessory. Now, before we go on, there were some other brilliant suggestions as well. We had a great comment that was, #1 accessory is a good opponent. Actually, very, very, very true. And if you want some tips and tricks on how to be a good opponent, go to watch last week's Top 5 Friday about etiquette and how to be a nice opponent. We should probably do that as well. This kind of ties into the same thing. Another absolutely superb suggestion was beer and or tea. I think one of my favourite ones was you make tea, and then when the tea is over, you make more tea, and you know, it's just about being a great host and a great opponent. That one you can't buy, you just kind of have to hope for. Ball token, though, you can go online and get multitude of choices. So I love them. I think they're incredibly useful. Whether you've got chunky quality or magnetic, you know, what's the? I want to use the word usefulness, but that's not very sophisticated. The more useful, more better, I think, is where we're going with that one. Anyway, ball token, #1, hands down. But a bunch of great accessories. Anyway, do let me know if we've missed anything on this roster. If there's something else you want to add that's good, that's bad, that you've seen done well. We're working on something that I personally think is very, very, very cool, and it's going to take us weeks, months to sort out, but I think you're going to love it as well. It fits kind of in the category of Blood Bowl accessories. I am so excited because I just think it's the most unnecessary cool thing that I've never seen. So I'm really excited. Anyway, I'm going to go continue working on that and also potentially sleep, but we'll see. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy blocking. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to help support the channel even further, please like and subscribe, or come join us on our Patreon. We have early access to content. We get loads of feedback from you guys, and we try and do competitions as much as we can. Or you can get yourself some Bonehead Podcast merch on our Spreadshirt site. So if you want to support a team, especially for the Bonehead Championship, you can pick up a shirt, a mug, things like that. It all helps support the channel, and we really appreciate it. Anyway, links below. Thank you very much. Happy blocking.